blameless faith. Amen? And that was from Luke 7:36-50. And it talked about the woman who washed Jesus' feet with her tears, wiped his feet off with her hair, anointed him with perfume. Amen? And it goes on to talk about works versus faith. Because many of us come away from that with the understanding that because she was able to cry, because she was able to use her own hair to wash his feet, because she loved him so much. But that's what saved her. No. No. It was her faith in who he was that saved her. It was her faith in who he was that even got her to go do that. Because she knew who he was. And to give you an idea of something else that we don't talk about so much about Mary Magdalene, who did these acts, she was also a prostitute that did these things. Amen? Amen. And unbeknownst to any of those Pharisees and any people who was around that dinner, when she was anointing him with that oil, not only was she giving him some comfort and refreshing him from his journey, she was also preparing him for his burial. She was also preparing him for his burial. And he said so. She is preparing me for my death. Amen. Amen. That's faith. Yes. And God brings all that together. Brings all that working towards the good. Amen? See, true faith, saints, true faith, it transforms our conduct as well as our thoughts. When you have true faith, you're going to do things differently. And you're going to think differently. So that those things that we do, we clothing the naked, we feeding the hungry, we giving money to the poor. Amen? It comes from a different place. It comes from a different place than us just being nice people, than us just being generous folk. It comes from the fact that we know who God is. It comes from the fact that I know that the resources that I have are dedicated to God. Right now, we have in our minds, most of us, when I come and I give to the offering plate, the Bible talks about a tithe, and that means 10%. Most of us don't do that. And we'll stick to that rule because it was written in the law. And we give this and we give that. And then we know that Jesus talked about, well, you give what you purpose in your heart. Amen. And we purpose in our heart something different from when we wake up out of the bed and when we're on our way to church and when we sitting here until we write that check. We don't purpose in our heart 3, 4, 5 times. And each time we purpose it, it go down, 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 down. Most of us. Most of us. Amen? But we don't even stop to consider that even when we tithe, even when we give 10%, we don't ever think that I have 90% of what God has given to me to deal with. I have 90%. None of it was mine. But I have 90% of what God had allotted me to do what I need to do. And we never even bother to realize that 90% that we have left, God will make it go further than the 100% that we have. He will make that 90% go further than the 100%. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. See, but we still hold on to it just the same. Even though we say that, we hold on to it just the same. You know why? Because for most of us, faith is an intellectual assent, which means that it's an intellectual understanding. Okay, so now I understand what it means. And you know what? I really agree with it. But I don't mean I'm going to do it. I agree with it. I understand it. But that don't mean that I'm going to practice it. And it takes time, and it takes really operating in faith till we can get to that point. The woman who came up to the offering plate when Jesus was in the synagogue and put in her whole living, when everybody else was putting in their 10%. Yeah, they tithing, putting in their 10%, and probably even putting in more. But the woman who put in her entire living, she was the only one operating in faith. She was operating in faith. Because she said, I can put these coins, I can put this money in here because God's going to take care of my needs. All of them. All of them. She was operating in faith. Amen? And what I'm saying to say is, we have to search ourselves. We have to search ourselves. In terms of, what does all this mean to me? Because each and every one of us is different. Amen? What does this mean to me? How can I begin to live my life in faith? How can I begin to operate in faith? And we need to pray on it. And ask the Lord for some instruction and some guidance. And He will provide it. Amen? Amen. And it's much more, saints, than just an intellectual assent. It's just much more than just an agreement. Yeah, that's what it is. And that's how it operates. We need to live in it if we're really going to operate in faith. In faith. Amen? Amen? Amen. Amen. If we were to go and really do some study about faith versus